जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ जय गिरिवर धारी जय गिरिवर धारी जय यशोदा नंदना जय ब्रजजन रंजना जय यशोदानंदना जय ब्रजजन रंजना जय यशोदानंदना जय ब्रजजन रंजना जय यशोदानंदन जय ब्रजजन रंजना जय यमुना तिरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय राधा माधव की जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव की जय नरसिंह भगवान की जय पंच तत्व की जय षड गोस्वामी की जय गुरु परंपरा की जय श्री गोपाल की जय श्री गुरुदेव की जय निता गौतम हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयं मुदीरयेत्. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nashtaprayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So, Hare Krishna, Guru Mataji. So, today we'll be discussing from third canto, 29th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, verse number 26 and 27. Two verses we'll be discussing today. So, let us recite verse number 26 and आत्मानश्च परस्यापि यः करोत्यन्तरोदरम् तस्य भिन्नदृशो मृत्यु विदधे भयमुल्बणम् आत्मानश्च परस्यापि यः करोत्यन्तरोदरम् तस्य भिन्नदृशो मृत्यु विदधे भयमुल्बणम् आत्मानश्च परस्यापि यः करोत्यन्तरोदरम् तस्य भिन्नदृशो मृत्युर्विदधे भयमुल्बणम्. Anybody would like to recite? Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, may I?
Hare Krishna. Yes, brother.
Atmanascha parasyapi yakarotyantorodaram tasya bhinnadrusho mrityur vidate bhayam ulbanam.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. So go to word meaning. Atmanaha, of himself, cha, and parasya, of another, api, also, yaha, one who, karoti, discriminates, antara, between, udaram, the body, tasya, of him, bhinna drishaha, having a differential outlook, mrityu, as death, vidade, I cause, bhayam, fear, ulbanam, great. Translation and purport which Divine Grace Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the translation and purport. As the blazing fire of death, I cause great fear to whoever makes the least discrimination between himself and other living entities because of a differential outlook. Purport. There are bodily differentiations among all varieties of living entities, but a devotee should not distinguish between one living entity and another on such a basis. A devotee's outlook should be that both the soul and supersoul are equally present in all varieties of living entities. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Now listen this 27th verse. Athamam sarvabhuteshu bhutanam bhutatmanam kritalayam arhaye danamanabhyam maitya bhinnena chakshusha athamam sarvabhuteshu bhutatmanam kritalayam arhaye danamanabhyam maitya bhinnena chakshusha athamam sarvabhuteshu bhutatmanam kritalayam arhaye danamanabhyam maitya bhinnena chakshusha. Anybody can recite.
Can I, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mother.
Hare Krishna. Athamam sarva bhuteshu bhutatmanam krutalayam arhaye danamanabhyam maitriya bhinnena chakshusha. Hare Krishna. Dhanyavad.
So synonyms, that is word to word meaning. Atha, therefore, mam, me, sarva bhuteshu, in all creatures, bhuta atmanam, the self in all beings, krita alayam, abiding, arhayet, one who should propitiate, dana manabhyam, through charity and respect, maitriya, through friendship, abhinnena, equal, chakshusha, by viewing. Translation purport by Divine Grace Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Please see the translation. Therefore, through charitable gifts and attention, as well as through friendly behavior, and by viewing all to be alike, one should propitiate me, who abide in all creatures as their very self. Purport. Please see the purport. It should not be misunderstood that because the super soul is dwelling within the heart of a living entity, the individual soul has become equal to him. The equality of the super soul and the individual soul is misconceived by the impersonalist. Here it is distinctly mentioned that the individual soul should be recognized in relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The method of worshipping the individual soul is described here as either giving charitable gifts or behaving in a friendly manner, free from any separatist outlook. The impersonalist sometimes accepts a poor individual soul as being Daridra Narayana meaning that Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has become poor. This is a contradiction. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in all opulences. He can agree to live with a poor soul or even with an animal, right? But this does not make him poor. So there are two Sanskrit words used here, mana and dana. Mana indicates a superior, and dana indicates one who gives charitable gifts or is compassionate towards an inferior. We cannot treat the Supreme Personality of Godhead as an inferior who is dependent on our charitable gifts. When we give charity, it is to a person who is inferior in his material or economic condition. Charity is not given to a rich man. Similarly, it is explicitly stated here that mana, respect, is offered to a superior, and charity is offered to an inferior. The living entities, according to different results of fruitive activities, may become rich or poor, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unchangeable. He is always full in six opulences. Treating a living entity equally does not mean treating him as one who treats the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Compassion and friendliness do not necessitate falsely elevating someone to the exalted position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should not at the same time misunderstand that the super soul situated in the heart of an animal like a hog and the super soul situated in the heart of a learned Brahmana are different. The super soul in all living entities is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. By his omnipotency, he can live anywhere and he can create his Vaikuntha situation everywhere. That is his inconceivable potency. Therefore, when Narayana is living in the heart of a hog, he does not become a hog Narayana. He is always Narayana and is unaffected by the body of the hog. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Gyanandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadati Subhadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagananita Shri Vishaka Thamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhescha Kripa Sindhu Vayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yonta Pravishya Mamavachi Imam Prasuktam Sanjeevayati Akila Shakti Dharaswadhamna Anyam Chahasta Charana Shravanato Gadin Prana Namo Bhagavate Purushaya Tubhyam Bhagavata Vachana Bhankam Kripatama Vande Praman Namo Vishnu 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 Bhutale Shivate Namo Shiva Swamiti Namane Namo Vishnu 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 Bhutale Shivate Ram Swamine Namaste Saraswati Dharam Sangha Vishesha Pacha Jai Shri Krishna. So Hare Krishna, Prabhu's Mata, yes, thank you very much for joining and especially very, very auspicious month going on, Damodara month. So here in Bhagavatam is all the more auspicious. So the previous chapter, that is, this is now 29th chapter, right? Third canto. So 28th chapter was entitled like Kapila's instructions on the execution of devotional service. See, these two chapters are very, very important. Especially 25, 26, 27. Because he speaks how to do devotional service and how can execute. So this chapter is explanation of devotional service by Lord Kapila. See, in the first, second, 1 to 3, these verses, Devati Mata, mother of Kapila Muni, she's inquiring to her son because he's Lord Kapila, his son. Her son is. So in the first and second verse, she's inquiring, now I shall request you to explain the path of devotional service, which is the ultimate end of all philosophical systems. So in 1 and 2, she's asking, please explain the path of devotional service. And the third verse, she's telling, my dear Lord, please also describe in detail both for me and for people in general. See, So selfless, no, she's asking not for herself, for herself and also the people in general. The continual process of birth and death. Birth and death continues, right? So she's asking for by hearing such calamities, this process of birth and death is like calamities. By hearing thus such calamities, we may become detached from the activities of the material world. And on the fourth verse, she also is inquiring, please also describe eternal time, which is a representation of your form, and by whose influence people in general engage in the performance of pious activities. So 1 to 4, she is inquiring. Now Kapila Muni, he starts answering from the 7th verse. There, the Lord says, there are multifarious paths of devotional service. Not just one like. Actually, it is one, but there are different paths. People are following different, multiple paths of devotional service in terms of different qualities of the person who is executing. Okay. And in 8, 9, and 10, Kapila Muni explains the devotional service in mode of devotional service in mode of passion, and devotional service in the mode of goodness. And in the 14th verse, he says, by attaining the highest platform of devotional service, as I have explained, okay, by attaining the highest platform, as I have explained, one can overcome the influence of the three modes of material nature. They can overcome and thereby situated in the transcendental stage. And then from verse 15, he is explaining what all are the duties, prescribed duties to be executed by a devotee. So this is, in short, the summary of what we will go through, as we have been already discussed before by various Prabhujis. So today's verse is the 26th verse. We saw, no, Kapila Muni is telling, as the blazing fire of death, I cause great fear to whoever makes the least discrimination between himself and other living entities because of differential outlook. And the Prabhupada says the purport. There are bodily differentiations among all varieties of religion. That's so Krishna doesn't like this differentiation, discrimination. You know, in olden days, the relationship between living entities in the home and society, they were based on love, respect, friendship, gratitude, because people are all leading a very God-centered life, right? Very Vedic life. But nowadays, the relationships are based on utility value. You know what does that mean? As long as the person is of some use, he or she will be treated with respect by family and society. But the moment the utility value decreases, then they are neglected, they are rejected, they are discarded. You can see in the head of the family, right? When they're working, when they're contributing to the family and everybody, they are respected. The moment they retire, there is no contribution. Then they start neglecting them, rejecting them, discarding. Same with anybody, any relation. So people who reject others, no, they fail to understand that nothing goes unnoticed by the Lord. Okay, CADs are there. 12 CADs, as we see in the Bhagavatam, it is there. So nothing goes unnoticed. So people who reject others, no, we don't think that you are free. What we sow, we reap. If we are neglecting someone today, then in the near future, Krishna in the form of eternal time, he will ensure that we go through the same pain. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna many times he insists on the important quality of being samadarshi, being equal to all living entities. As every living entity is a part and parcel of Krishna. But many times we discriminate and behave differently with different living entities. That's why Lord Kapila, he warns us in this verse, 26th verse. Right? He says, as the blazing fire of death, I cause great fear to whoever makes these discriminations. So in this regard, there's a short story which I can like to narrate. See, in Haripura, there lived a merchant named Sanka, and who had 4 sons. So as long as he was hale and hearty and earning a lot of money, his family members respected him. And when he became old, He handed over his business and all his wealth to the sons. And he was not able to earn anymore, right? So what happened? Within no time, he lost the respect, love which he had earlier. His sons no longer obeyed him. Their wives mistreated him. And he was put into a corner of the house, struggling with hunger, right? So once, in the cold winter time, very cold, right? He asked his old son, Kumuda, for giving him a cloth to protect him from the night cold, right? Very heavy cold. So Kumuda replied, he was angry. With anger, he said, for an old man whose wife is dead, who is dependent on his son's money, who is cut by the words of his daughters in law, death is better than life. See the harsh words. Then he said to his Kumuda, he said, to his son, he said, Kuntala, his name is Kuntala, give him that curtain. Take that curtain and give it to this grandfather. Now, Kuntala, he gave the old man only half of the curtain. So, when the old man showed the piece to his elder son, now Kumuda got angry to his son. Why he had not given his grandfather the whole curtain? Why a half? Now, respectfully placing his hands together, Kumuda's son Kuntala replied, Father, when old age also overtakes you, so that this will be ready for you as a half curtain. This will be ready for you also. Then he came to his senses. He was shamed, right? And he said, Son, Kuntala, we have been really instructed by you. You become a support for us. You have brought me to my senses. So from that time on, he began to show his father love and for the whole family. See, the moral of the story is do unto others as you would like others to do unto you. Understood? We have this saying, right? Do unto others as you would like others to do unto you. See, my Guru Maharaj used to quote a very nice verse from Padma Puran. Shriyatam dharma sarvasvam shrutva chayeva avadharyatam atmana pratikulani pareshamna samacharet. After hearing all the instructions and realizations from the Shastras, one can arrive at the conclusion that you should do unto others what you want others to do unto you. See, our interaction with any living entity in this world, no, is not an accident. Please do understand. Our interaction with any living entity in this world is not an accident. See, based on our past karma and Krishna's sanction, we come in touch with different living entities. See, everyone is a gift from Krishna, and we are also part and parcel of Krishna. So seeing each living entity in connection to the Lord, we should genuinely respect them and treat them with love and care, and never hurt or harm them by our thoughts, deeds, or actions. You know Dhritarashtra? See, Dhritarashtra was anxious that his sons might lose the war and even die. He knew that his sons were all at fault for all the mishaps and they were on the Adharma side. And he also knew that fighting the battle in the holy place, Kurukshetra, will not be favorable for them. And they are bound to be defeated. He knew everything of this. So, if we are not Dhritahari and we are Dhritarashtra, then you are bound to be haunted by fear, doubt, and anxiety always. The first verse, Dhritarashtra, he says, he uses the word Mamaka, right? Which means my party, my sons. So this shows that he did not treat the Kauravas and Pandavas equally. And he discriminated the Pandavas. So this showed his attachment towards his own sons. And this is the root cause of this fratricidal war. See, when dual mind is there, destruction is bound to happen. That's why this verse 26 was very important. So in the whole of Bhagavad Gita, we find that apart from Krishna and Arjuna, Sanjay also spoke a few verses. But as soon as Dhritarashtra said Mamaka, he did not get any more chance to speak. There was only verse. So if we keep discriminating Krishna, if we all keep discriminating, no, Krishna says he will appear as the blazing fire of death. So for our own well-being, it is to surrender unto the Lord and treat everyone equally. See, the quality of equation or samadarshi is very dear to the Lord. And Krishna, he mentions in many verses in Bhagavad Gita that he is very pleased with those who have equal vision. So if we do not follow the religious principles, then we'll also be wiped out by Krishna. Like how he wiped out the Kauravas in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. See, in Bhagavatam, 4th canto, 6th chapter, 47th verse, it said, persons who observe everything with differentiation, who are simply attached to fruitive activities, who are mean-minded, who are always pained to see the flourishing condition of others, and who thus give distress to them by uttering harsh and piercing words, have already been killed by providence. So there is no need for them to be killed again by an exalted personality like you. So in this verse, you can see there are 5 unwanted qualities by which you will automatically you are killed. First one, thinking differently. Second, attachment to fruitive activities. Third, being mean-minded. 4, being always pained to see the flourishing condition of others. We don't like others to be flourishing. And 5, giving distress to other living entities by uttering harsh and piercing words. So by doing our duties immaculately, we are able to get detached from the fruitive results. So detachment does not mean stopping the work, but doing it more carefully. See, we are always mean-minded. Durashayaha, mean-minded. As a devotee is broad-minded. See, Mahatma Gandhi was loved because he was broad-minded. See, how was Srila Prabhupada able to convince all these fish and meat eaters? He must be extremely broad-minded, correct? So he gave them Bhavad Guna Katha and they accepted. See, so much tolerance here, so broad-minded. When he was in US and all, he was staying West family, they're all meat eaters. In the fridge, when you open the fridge, you can see all non-vegetarian. But he didn't speak any word. So those who are mean-minded always lose their health. If we are with Srimad Bhagavatam, we are not lacking anything. But because we are not with Srimad Bhagavatam, we are unsatisfied and we keep troubling and overburdening others for our needs. And by overburdening the people who are already suffering, we are doing more sinful activities. And surely we will get sinful reactions for the same. So serious study of Srimad Bhagavatam is all that is required. Shukadeva Goswami says to Parikshit Maharaj in Bhagavatam verse 6:115, Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayanaha. He says, only a rare person who has adopted complete unalloyed devotional service to Krishna, he can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will revive, completely taken out from the root. So Krishna just wants simple, sincere devotional service. But we are just wasting time. There is no limit for our waste. So many years have passed and not a single word from Bhagavatam we are able to understand. See, at least we are in the association of devotees. We are lucky. So at least we should stick to this and propagate this Bhagavatam. See, there will be only a few people when you recite Bhagavatam or have class in Bhagavatam class and Bhagavad Gita class, only few people will be there. But few good people are better than others, right? So without Srimad Bhagavatam, there will be discrimination. There will be mean-mindedness. There will be fruitive activities. But with Srimad Bhagavatam, all this will be absent. So fruitive activities will not touch us. With Srimad Bhagavatam, we will always be reasonable and healthy. See, in the material world, we see that there are bodily differentiations among all varieties of living entities. Apart from that, see, even the same species also, each living entity has its own nature. Correct? Every human, we are all different in nature. And because of that, there are so many differences. So it becomes extremely difficult for us to have loving relationship with all. We always have the tendency to differentiate and discriminate. So the question comes to our mind, right? How can we practically be loving to everyone, to one and all? So what is the secret of this loving relationship? In one of the lectures, my Guru Maharaj said, see, we are followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is a very merciful incarnation, very merciful to each and every living entity. And it is our duty to be very wholeheartedly related to every living entity. See, that's the secret of our behavior. Huh? See, I have this body, you have that body, dog has that body, ant has another body. So these are different bodies. But there are innumerable souls, no, which don't have bodies at the moment. Only a few bodies we are seeing. And apart from these bodies, there are innumerable souls who are not in the body. So, the point to understand, those who are in the body and with us in this world, somehow or the other, they are related to us. What relation is that? We don't know. Maybe, of course, within the family without know. Okay. So, otherwise, see, if you are not intimately related, how can you have the body? See, I have the body, you have the body, and we have the same time staying together. Otherwise, you will not be having the body in front of me. Now, because I am having the body and you are having the body, we have the common time on this planet. So why we are having the common time in this planet? See, whenever we see a living entity, we don't think that he is American, he is from Singapore, or he is from Australia. We don't, as a devotee. So this is the teaching of Srila Prabhupada. So the first thing Prabhupada told that don't think you are different. And this is the secret of Prabhupada's teaching. Why Krishna has given the common time to all of us, 24 hours to everybody, right? Why he has given? Not to fight with each other. But what we do? We come together and we fight with each other. We misunderstand each other. So this is not the way. We are related, whether I know you or not. See, there are so many other, like Americans, Indians, other nationalities. So wherever we go, right, we can see Krishna is wandering about, and this is our relation. He is the heart of each individual. So we should not think that somebody is not related or he does not talk to me, I do not talk to him. No. We are all having common time. And that is Krishna's arrangement. And Krishna is the complete whole to send us all together on this planet. And because he has sent us all together in this planet, it is our duty to save each other. That is why Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam, in Bhagavatam, Jadabrata, she was jumping while carrying the palanquin, right, of King Rahuguna. Because palanquin means it should be so smooth, no, otherwise the king will be moving here and there. But he was jumping. Why? Because he was seeing the ants. So he wanted to save the ants. He was not mad. So King Rahuguna thought that this rascal, he is giving me jerks inside, and he was upset with him. But when he heard the answers which given by Jadabrata, he could realize that he had the knowledge to realize. At least he had the knowledge, right? Other kings will not realize at all, right? So this is the culture we are following. This shows that whether I know you or you know me or not, but we are all related. Within the family, in the association of devotees, right? When we come for program, we are all related now. But outside living entities, they are also related. So one thing we have to remember again, that we are all here in this association, very nice, happy atmosphere, because we are near to Krishna. Being with books, Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Krishna Katha daily, we are happy. See, but those who come from outside, they are really burning with miseries. All three miseries, right? So those who are come here, it is our duty to calm them down. And how to calm them? If somebody new person is coming as an associate for having the program, coming for this class, how to calm them down? Because they are already still in the miseries. Just smile at them. Talk to them nicely. Offer some prasadam. And that will really uplift them to come to the temple very often. And this was what Srila Prabhupada's method. This is Srila Prabhupada's method, you know. You know what Prabhupada used to do in the beginning days in America? He used to prepare a big jar of rasgullas. And he used to keep the jar near the door. And the hippies, they used to come and put first rasgullas in their mouth. And then ask, Prabhupada, how are you? Rasgullas in their mouth. And then they thought, oh, Prabhupada is beautiful, very nice. It or not, they came to hear Krishna Katha. Just rasgulla, they were attracted. So many elevated living entities, they were ringing from their offices. They were working in the office. They said, Prabhupada, you prepare samosas very nicely. Please, I am coming for lunch. You please prepare samosas. Prabhupada said, yes, yes, you come. And Prabhupada used to prepare samosas. And when they came to the movement, finally, they thought that we are asking this Acharya to prepare samosas. And he used to do it for us. So they went inside his room and they said, Prabhupada, we are very sorry. We were really troubling you to make samosas. Now, Prabhupada, see the reply of Prabhupada. He said, fools, you don't understand. I was buying you by giving samosas. I did not have Lakshmi, but I wanted to buy you. So I had only samosas and rasgullas. And because I gave you these samosas and rasgullas, you are now my slaves. So these are very simple things. But these things makes us great. Simple things make us great. That's what Sri Prabhupada, how did he? Just by offering samosas. I mean, prasadam, right? That's why in Bhagavatam 11.7.51, it says, even when reflected in various objects, the sun is never divided, nor does it merge into its reflection. Please understand. So only those with dull brains would consider the sun in this way. Similarly, although the soul is reflected through different material bodies, the soul remains undivided and non-material. See, just like the sun is one, right? So we should also understand that Krishna as super soul is living in all living entities. So irrespective of whether a living entity is a boy or a girl, human, animal, rich, poor, whatever it is, Krishna is residing in everyone's heart. So we are all part and parcel of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So we should not discriminate people. So even while distributing the message of Krishna, we should do it without any discrimination. And should not be selective in sharing the message with others. So this nature will only please Krishna. See, we can do great amount of service when we serve in united manner. So Krishna himself assures in Bhagavatam 4:38, 4th canto, 30th chapter, 8th verse. He says, my dear sons of the king, I am very much pleased by the friendly relationships among you. He's telling to the Prachetas, all of you are engaged in one occupational devotional service. I am so pleased with your mutual friendship that I wish you all good fortune. Now you may ask a benediction of me. See, if you have united dealings with everybody, Krishna says, I wish you all good fortune. What more you need? See, have we ever heard a rose saying, I want to be as white as moon? Or a moon saying, I want to be as red as a rose? Certainly not. Then why do we human beings compare and discriminate our success and failures with others? If rose is beautiful, then moon is also beautiful. They never compared each other. See, success is not determined by how we are doing compared with others, but by how we are doing compared with what we are capable of doing. Rose is a rose and moon is moon. See, we may be a little lamp, and others may be the great sun. But a little lamp can shine in the night, but the great sun cannot. So Krishna has given each one of us a special talent. So understanding Krishna's purpose in creating us, we should utilize whatever talents we have. Because he has bestowed us in his service in the best possible manner. Instead, if we keep comparing ourselves and discriminating others, we end up only displeasing Krishna, which obviously is not the goal of our life. See, we usually talk so much about humility, and we advise everybody to be humble. We broadcast that humility is the only way to reach the Lord. But are we really feeling humble in all circumstances? And especially with regard to giving respect to others? It is totally absent. See, we care for people only if they do nice service to us and also give respect to us. Then only we care for them. But we fail to understand that Krishna is in the heart of all the living entities. And we do not have any right to discriminate living beings and think them as lower. Usually, among the devotees, we think that materialistic people are to be condemned. And especially servant mates are to be treated like servants with disdain. So this type of mentality is completely condemned by Krishna. That's why he says, a blazing fire of death, I cause great fear to whoever makes the least discrimination. So a very nice pastime of Srila Prabhupada. It will really touch us. Prabhupada, while staying in Bombay, he had called for a meeting of all the GPC members to assemble and finalize a course of action to be taken for acquiring the Juhu land. It was a very important meeting, and all senior disciples they were assembled to discuss. But during the course of this intense discussions, one sweeper came to sweep the room where the discussions were going on. So, on seeing her, in spite of being in the middle of very serious discussions, right, Prabhupada stepped out of the room and asked everyone to leave the room and said, the sweeper should be obeyed and we should disperse and assemble later after she finishes her job. Prabhupada said that the sweeping would fetch her 1 rupee and that would feed her family and herself. So he said, so we should give respect and leave the place immediately and assemble later. So all the disciples were wonderstruck at Srila Prabhupada's exemplary behavior. And were reminded of Amanina Manadena, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. So this also reminds us how the Lord received Sudama in his palace. And he respectfully treated him, as it's given in Bhagavatam 10:80, verse number 20 to 22. Lord Krishna seated his friend Sudama upon the bed. Then the Lord, who purifies the whole world, personally offered him various tokens of respect and washed Sudama's feet, after which he sprinkled the water on his own head. He anointed him with divinely fragrant sandalwood, aguru, kunkuma, and happily worshipped him with aromatic incense and arrays of lamps. And after finally offering betel nut and the gift of a cow, he welcomed him with pleasing words. Such an exemplary behavior is possible only by the Supreme Lord himself or by his most exemplary Acharya Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada not only spoke on humility, he practiced it as well. And he is the personification of this words, Trinada peace nature. So it is our unsteady mind which does not budge an inch to apply these principles in our devotional life. However, we want to birth in Vaikuntha Loka without any qualification. How is it possible? We may know the entire Bhagavatam. We may know the entire Srimad Bhagavad Gita inside out with purpose. And also so many verses. But unless we put into practice what we learn from these verses, then it becomes useless labor. So Krishna and his devotees, by their exemplary behavior, are again and again proving their greatness. And we do not understand it. So we should be careful in the aspect of devotional service, giving respect to others without any expectation and reciprocation. See, devotee who does not discriminate, what does he do? He's not inimical to anyone, and he's also not intimate with anyone. So these 2 points are actually explained by Kapila in Bhagavatam 3:27-7. He says, in executing devotional service, one has to see every living entity equally, without enmity towards anyone, yet without intimate connections with anyone. One has to observe celibacy, be grave, and execute his eternal activities, offering the results to Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, Srila Prabhupada elaborates on 3 important points in this verse. 1, seeing everyone equally. A devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who seriously engages in devotional service is equal to all living entities. So there are various species of living entities, but a devotee does not see the outward covering. He sees the inner soul, which is inhabiting the body. Now, because each and every soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he does not see any difference. That is the vision of a learned devotee. So, to have the quality of equivision, we should not judge anyone. He sees everyone as trying their best to serve Krishna according to their own capacity. So, the best way to do this is to actually follow our Acharya's spiritual master's words and see everyone as pure devotees except ourselves. In this way, the devotee will hold everyone in high regard and will not discriminate on whom to show the more respect, whom to show less respect. No. That is the first point, right? Seeing everyone equally, samadarshi. Second is no enmity towards anyone. The devotee has no enmity towards any living entity. But that does not mean that he mixes with everyone. That is prohibited. That is intimacy. So due to his equivision, devotee never shows enmity towards anyone. Whether anyone treats him badly or nicely, the devotee is equal to both. He is never biased towards the person. Especially to bias towards the person who is glorifying him, right? Prabhuji, very nice class, or very nice kirtan. He's not biased towards them. Or show less interest in the person who has offended him. No. He always sees the hand of the Krishna in everything that happens. He does not consider the person who offended him to be the doer. So in this way, he will never hate the other person. So no enmity towards anyone. And third point was not being intimate with anyone. Aprasangataha. Not to be in intimate touch with anyone. See, a devotee is concerned with his execution of devotional service. And he should therefore mix with devotees only in order to advance his objective. A devotee has no business mixing with others. Although he does not see anyone as his enemy, his dealings are only with persons who engage in devotional service. So, a devotee with equivision and without inimical feelings to others is a balanced devotee. In this balanced state, the devotee is never intimate with anyone also. So, when the devotee mixes with another devotee, Krishna and devotional service is in the center. So, we find that if two people come together with their relationship solely based on material grounds, then they're bound to differentiate and the relationship eventually breaks down. But by keeping the eternal Lord and the bliss of devotional service in the center, the relationship actually flourishes. So this does not mean that devotees don't share their problems and seek advice from another devotee. They do. So when we approach a devotee with about anything, what we get in return is always Krishna consciousness, as the devotees only speak about Krishna. So mixing with non-devotees, even though difficult to avoid, should be kept to a minimum in order to achieve the desired goal. One should only try to mix with devotees and not to turn to others. The Avadhuta Brahmana, by speaking to Prahlad Maharaj, gives us the way in which one can achieve all these 3 points with regards to relating with another person through the verse 7, 13, 42 in Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, different people are of different mentalities. Therefore, it is not my business either to praise them or blaspheme them. I only desire their welfare, hoping that they will agree to become one with the Super Soul, the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. So the chapter in which this verse comes from is titled The Behavior of a Perfect Person. So by following this verse, our behavior and thus our relationship with others will always be perfect. That's why in these two verses, today's verses, 26 and 27, while explaining the process of devotional service to his mother Devoti, Kapila says, right, as a blazing fire of death, I cause great fear and all. And in this 27th verse, Kapila Muni further explains how to practice this quality of equivision. He says, therefore, through charitable gifts and attention, as well as through friendly behavior, and by viewing all to be alike, one should propitiate me, who abide in all creatures as their very self. So when we meet needy people, we should provide them charitable gifts. And when we meet elders, we must pay our obeisances and give them their due attention. And when we meet people of our own age, we should behave friendly with them. So in this shloka, the word arhed, that is, one should propitiate, is noteworthy. So Kapila Muni very nicely says, just by behaving like this, we can please Krishna, residing in each and one of their hearts, as he considers this as good as worshipping him. It is not that we can worship the Lord by offering him flowers, fruits, and incense. Even by behaving with others in a genuine, kind manner, we are worshipping the super soul residing in them. See, after hearing this, we may question, how is it practically possible? Are we supposed to behave friendly manner with a tiger also? See, in the subsequent verse, Kapil Deva makes it very clear how we should behave with different types of living entities. That's why in the 28th verse, Prabhupada says, the feeling of equality must be there, but the treatment should be discriminating. He explains how the sages who lived in the forest, they saw the super soul in the tiger by providing the prasadam, not by hugging the tigers. Correct? So the idea is, we must feel the presence of the super soul in all. Though the way we would be expressing it might be different. See, just like our father loves his good son as well as the bad son alike, right? The feeling of love for both of them would be the same. He might treat them differently. The love is the same. He would have loving dealings with the good son and might chastise the bad son. So, in this verse it is said, no, in 3:31:13, it is said, Vishuddham avikaram akhanda bodham. The super soul is always sitting apart from all contaminations. See, the living entity is contaminated and suffering because he has a material body. But that does not mean that because the Lord is also with him, he also has a material body. Correct? He is avikaram, changeless. He is always the same supreme. But unfortunately, the philosophers, because of their impure hearts, they cannot understand that the supreme soul, the super soul, is different from the individual soul. So it is said here, Atapyamana hridaye avashitam. He is in the heart of every living entity. But he can be realized only by a soul who is repentant. The individual soul becomes repentant that he forgot his constitutional position. He wanted to become one with the Supreme Soul and tried his best to laud to our mental nature. So he has been baffled. Therefore, he is repentant. So at that time, Super Soul or the relationship between the Super Soul and the individual soul is realized when you become repentant. It is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita after many, many births, the knowledge comes to the conditioned soul that Vasudeva is great. He is a master and he is the Lord. So individual soul is the servant and therefore he surrenders unto him. And at that time, he becomes a Mahatma, a great soul. Therefore, the fortunate living being who comes unto this understanding, even within the womb of his mother, he has his liberation assured. In this purport of 6.1.31, Prabhupada says, materialist scientists, they do not know where to find the soul within the body. With their material instruments, that's not possible. But this verse clearly explains that the soul is within the core of the heart, Hridaya. See, it is from the heart, the Yamadutas were extracting the soul of Ajamila. So similarly, we learned that the super soul, Lord Vishnu, is also situated in the heart. Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hriddeshi Arjuna Tishtati. In the Upanishads, it is said that the super soul and the individual soul are living in the same tree of the body as two friendly birds. So the super soul is said to be friendly because The Supreme Personality of God is so kind to the original soul that when the original soul transmigrates from one body to another, the Lord goes with him, accompanies him. So according to the desire and karma of the individual soul, the Lord, through the agency of Maya, creates another body for him. So it is stated in 13.23 purport that the super soul, who is always with the individual soul, is a representation of the Supreme Lord. It's not an ordinary living entity. See, because the philosophers, monists, the impersonalists, they take the knower of the body to be one. They think that there is no difference between the super soul and the individual soul. So to clarify this, Krishna says that he is represented as Paramatma in every body. He is different from the individual soul. He is para, transcendental. The individual soul enjoys the activities of a particular field, but the super soul is present in not as a finite enjoyer, nor as one taking part in bodily activities, but as the witness, overseer, permitter, and supreme enjoyer. His name is Paramatma, not Atma. He is a transcendentalist. So it is very distinctly clear that Atma and Paramatma are different. So the super soul, the Paramatma, has legs and hands everywhere, but the individual soul does not. And because the Paramatma is the Supreme Lord, he is present within to sanction the individual soul's desiring material enjoyment. See, without the sanction of the Supreme Soul, the individual soul cannot do anything. The individual is bhukta or sustained, and the Lord is bhokta or the maintainer. So there are innumerable living entities, and he is staying in them as a friend. That's why, see, the repentant heart, we just saw, no? The repentant heart, Krishna is very pleased. As soon as Parishit Maharaj, he sincerely repented for disrespecting Shamika Rishi, the Lord miraculously arranged for Shukadeva Goswami and all the sages to meet Parishit Maharaj at the banks of Ganges and gave an opportunity for him to hear Srimad Bhagavatam before his death. Why? Because he repented for the action he did, Parikshit Maharaj. And as soon as Vyasadeva, he sincerely repented for not glorifying the Supreme Lord. He was bestowed the darshan of his spiritual master Narada Muni, who inspired him to glorify the Supreme Lord through Srimad Bhagavatam. So, the important lesson we should learn from these souls is that we should not voluntarily commit sins. And if we do something unwillingly or unintentionally, we should sincerely repent and seek forgiveness for the sin. That's why in 119.1 of Bhagavatam, Prabhupada says, repentance is natural for a good man like the king. And such repentance delivers a devotee from all kinds of sins accidentally committed. So devotees are naturally faultless. Accidental sins committed by a devotee are sincerely regretted. And by the grace of the Lord, all sins unwillingly committed by a devotee are burnt in the fire of repentance. So, a lot of things to be said, but time is of the essence. So let us stop. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji, for giving this opportunity for glorifying the Lord in this wonderful month of Damodara. Thank you for hearing patiently. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions or anything to share, please go ahead. Mancha kalpatarvich kripa sandubhe chipatitanam pavan. Hare Krishna. Yes, all doubts are clear. Any doubts? Okay, you don't have, that's fine. Thank you very much. It's a real wonderful lesson we can learn. So please go through this for chapters 25 to 27. Devotional service by Kapila Muni. It really gives encouragement and inspiration to do devotional service. You have to be very focused in whatever we're doing. Especially during this month, please do it. Damodar month is very auspicious. You can do it at your own house. You can call your neighbors, call us. We can make arrangements for doing it. Krishna Katha, Damodarashtakam, and ghee lamp offer to Lord Damodara. So thank you for again, once again. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Bhagavad. Hare Krishna.
These three qualities you said, no? Seeing everyone equally.
Yes.
No enmity towards anyone.
Yeah.
And then not to be intimate touch with anyone.
Yes.
So just how to understand, like there is some like we should not discriminate, at the same time should not be intimate. So there is a balance. There should be a
That's
balance.
what is balance. Correct.
That's what.
See what happens. Intimate means we are discriminating. That means we become one. We like one person, other person we don't like. That is one moment you are intimate. Even in devotional association also, we come together, right? So slowly, initially we meet everybody, we enjoy with everyone. Slowly we get intimate with some people because they glorify you. A very nice kirtan Prabhu, very nice prasadam we made. So you like that person more than the person who might have offended you, might be engaging you in service, maybe telling you something. So you may feel offended by that person. But that is the moment when you should be equipoised in both. You should not discriminate that he is offended me, I will not. He is like that only. This person is very nice to me. So that means you can start getting intimate. So that is this balanced is very difficult. Nobody is an enemy. Nobody is your friend also. It's very it's not so easy, but that is how we should follow it. But you can see, intimate means naturally we become attached to some person who glorifies you, appreciates you. It doesn't mean that he should not appreciate you. That's fine. But it's not. Point is, because that person is appreciating you and glorifying you, slowly you start expecting that appreciation from him. So next time when he doesn't, when you do a class on Kirtan, if that person does not appreciate you, you feel morose, disappointed. Correct. And somebody who criticizes you, definitely you don't like that person. So this is a very subtle point which we have to go through in our lives. So this way it's possible. It is possible, but only by focusing Bhagavatam. By your own, it's not possible. So we should forgive a person who has offended us. And we should not be expecting again glorification, appreciation of other person who's always doing that. So we become intimate. So then only we'll be able to focus on Bhagavatam. Please note that. If somebody criticizes you, you cannot sit and read Bhagavatam. You will be thinking of that, how to react to that person. Correct? That is one point. And your appreciation, so okay, I'll take this class. This person, he will like this point. This person has appreciated me last time. So I will go next time that person don't appreciate you. You feel why? What? So again, mind is always flickering. So you're not focused completely. So if you really have to peacefully read Bhagavatam and try to understand, realize we have to be equipoised, Samadarshi. That's why we see the pure devotees, right? They don't discriminate. How Krishna doesn't discriminate anybody. And see from the sun and the moon. Do they discriminate? Oh, this is my devotee, I will give sun to him. This person, no, I will not. He is not the devotee, I will not give the sun to him. They don't discriminate. So we should follow from what Krishna has given from these wonderful creations. The tree, right? The fruit, mango fruit. It will only a devotee will give to you. If a devotee goes and gives, and if a non-devotee, it will not come out. Not possible. So they don't discriminate. So learn from them. That is possible. Not so easy, but we have to practice. Abhyas. Thank you, Prabhu Balaji Prabhu. I presume I was able to be of some help. Hare Krishna.
Very clear, very clear. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mataji, Prabhuji. Shantagada Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Swayam Prabhu Mataji, thank you. Kirti Mataji, Gitanjali Prabhu, Mataji Chinu. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Shantu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Nice class.
Hare
Thank you.
Thank you.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Is
Yes.
it okay if I can
Hare
ask a small question, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji, go ahead.
Sorry, Prabhuji, please forgive my ignorance and my stupidity. It could be a very silly question I'm asking you. But just one thing, Prabhuji, like usually Krishna says, moksha ishyami, aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shuchaha. And even when, getting initiated, like all the sins have been taken away. But why do still, Prabhuji, like devotees, why do they suffer from their sinful activities that have happened in their past or because from their past lives? That I fail to understand. Somewhere I know I'm missing some point, Prabhuji. Could you kindly help me understand it better, Prabhuji?
Yeah, good question. See, before coming to, maybe we have met a lot of problems, difficulties were there. That means there are some simple activities we have done, right? So we think that once I come to program, so now Krishna, everything is gone, no problems will come, everything will be fine. So we enjoy programs. So initially the enthusiasm is there. We are dealing with devotees, chanting mantras, Hare Krishna mantra, singing kirtans, hearing Krishna Katha, or doing a lot of services, prasadam making, everything. So we're so much engaged in the activities. So we are very happy. So during those 1 hour or 45 minutes, what were there in the not only Zoom, when you're coming for a program, Janmashtami program and all. So from the beginning, before the Janmashtami, think about so many things to activities be done and all. So throughout the time, you're never disturbed, right? You don't think of anything else. Completely focused on doing this, all for Krishna. Janmashtami, everything you're doing. So completely after the function, everything is over. Then you come back to your normal again, back to square one. Difficulties, again reaction, all those comes. Why? Did you realize during the 45 minutes, 1 hour you're in the class, did you think of anything else? Nothing. Right? Because
No.
completely you're focused on Krishna Katha.
Yes.
So Krishna Katha itself, hearing Krishna Katha, Shravanam Kirtanam, it purifies you. So Krishna has already done his duty. But afterwards, what are you doing? Are you still continuing thinking of Krishna? Maybe by
No,
chanting
Prabhuji.
mantra or reciting the shlokas or anything related to Krishna. You connect everything with Krishna. When you see the sun that is Krishna, moon that is Krishna, water, if the taste in water is Krishna, is given in Bhagavad Gita. In 15 places you can see me. If you go on
Yes.
remembering Krishna at every stage of your life, that means automatically it is gone. But we are not fully into it. We don't have the 100% faith. That is it. So any problem is we have to increase our devotional service. It's not. So Krishna is always doing his duty. Yes, I think yesterday we saw in Gajendra Moksha, Gajendra is chanting, with pain he is chanting, and he's not fully chanting also, but still Krishna is coming to help him because his name is in difficulty. Krishna's name is in problem. If a devotee calls out to Krishna and he doesn't help him, Krishna's name will be difficult. So Krishna comes to help Gajendra, and he's sincerely doing that. So we are all sincerely doing it. But if you retrospect yourself since the beginning of, before coming to this Krishna consciousness until now, would have changed a lot. A lot of changes might have been taken place in you, yourself, in your life, in your family, everybody. Definitely it is there. But it is
Yes.
slow progress because the intensity is still not maintained. So it go on. I presume, Mataji, whatever is possible within my capacity, I was able to, it will be of some help to you.
No, definitely, Prabhuji. Definitely. That was a beautiful answer. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for clearing out. Yes, because even as I understand, this is not from this lifetime. I know my anarthas and everything, like so sinful I am. So, yeah, of course, it will take some time. So, yes,
Good.
you cleared it out,
Yeah,
Prabhuji. And I can't, Satatam, I can't think of Krishna always. That is
no
also true.
problem.
Yes.
No, you
I'm
are right.
trying,
If you do
Prabhuji.
your responsibility also, to taking care of children, parents, husband, everybody, that is also Krishna conscious. Okay, because they're all part and parcel of Krishna. We saw that, right? He's at the heart of everybody. That is all Krishna consciousness. But you lovingly and you do dealings with everybody, it is Krishna. Not necessarily you have to recite a mantra. This also is there. That way you can do that. The only thing is that Krishna, by coming to Krishna consciousness, he has given us the strength to tolerate the difficulties. The difficulty will not touch us. Just like the umbrella, when you open, when the rain comes, you open the umbrella, the rain will not stop. The rain will be still there, but it will not touch you because you opened the umbrella. So we have opened the umbrella of the shelter of Krishna. So the problems, whatever it comes, it will not touch you because you opened the shelter of, you are under the shelter of Krishna. Okay. Thank you.
Wow,
Hari.
that's a very, very, very beautiful example, Prabhuji. I think I'm going to remember that all my life. Very, very
Hare
beautiful
Krishna.
example. Thank you so
Hare
much,
Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Hare
Please
Krishna.
accept my
Thank
humble
you.
obeisances. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Prabhu. Time is of the essence, so please excuse me. So we'll leave. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.